Where are you, Sam? We did it. Yes. Good morning, and welcome to meditation. Whew, so many things to sync with you on, connect on. Where to begin? It has been a hot minute, a hot month. We are coming in on a big back end of the summer solstice, and a huge strawberry full moon, so much energy here, and having culminated after an incredibly long break. So I am going to attempt to not do too much setup for this meditation. However, there is a little bit of framing that gets to be done today, because the nature and the structure of meditation, while remaining the same, we are here to continue to connect in, to find our field, and to go after the metas, the greatest expression of our own inner energies. The field that we're connecting to and moving and operating within has fundamentally expanded and shifted. And so it is the nature of that, and it is the texture of that, and it is our awareness of what it is we are connecting to in the diversity of it, and the infrastructure and architecture within it, that was what preempted the big pause for me to go find it and myself within it, but then also be able to find the language and what it was that where I was swimming in, and you, to be able to guide all of you as well through. So here we are. I think we've got it. And I couldn't, recognizing that, oh my gosh, it is July as of this week, the end of this week, and can't go any further. And we've just come through this incredible energy. It's been fascinating to tune back into December's Flames report. I think it was December 16th, the annual Flames report. And I found myself going back to that quite a bit, because there was a wall of energy that we hit in this past week, and not only tied to the solstice, but just, and it's never, in all the Flames reports we've done at the end of the year, never seen anything like that. And here we are in this transition, in this incredibly intense, powerful, potent new field of energy. So yes, while we have the solstice and we're in this incredible new strawberry moon, what also is present is that we are running in an incredibly new, dynamic, energetic operating system, if you will. And that is really what this body of work is about, and why it felt really critical, even though this was very last minute. I put the note out to all of you this morning, but the awareness that we needed to capture this. And even though I don't have a lesson plan for today, we're just going to get in and start to roll with it. Everything is you're going to find it, you'll see it, sense it as we go. There's just going to be a deeper dimension to it, new architecture and imagery as we're moving through our core foundation, like the light link, like the star link, like the tail, like those fundamental exercises that we do. But then we're going to be adding new dimensions to that foundational work that we're up to, because there is new operating system. There is new grid forming, and it is forming through us. And we are the nodes that are in part responsible for bringing it to life and giving it consciousness and helping to architect it. What I think is important to speak to that is that, it is not, my awareness and my consciousness is not that I am making this up. It is not that I see it. It is, a lot of my intelligence around it comes through my mentor, our mentor. You can go out and find her as well. Maya through Blue Star Rising. A lot of this work and body of work centers around a lot of her teachings in the Tothara, but also then the deep dive into a lot of work in terms of studying different, quantum experts and physics and the physicists and understanding. There's been a lot of deep dive in that space for me in the last several months in our absence, as well as a huge deep dive into solar gnosis, right? And really understanding the architecture behind, if we have 8 streams of consciousness and lineage behind the religions, right? Behind the 8 major pillars, if you will, that have led humanity into our current carriers. And I think there are several leaders in this space that have done a good job of taking the masters, the ancient masters, if you will, those being David Icke is a fun one, Santos Bonacci, Paul Wallace Morabito, David Lovegrove, just to name a few that have all been pulling on threads. Another one, Stephen Mellor, and then of course those that deep dive into the Hermetics, right? And so in just again, those all naming them in case, because what I encourage you to do is dive in and pull on whatever threads inspire and ignite and excite for you, because this isn't what we are studying, isn't anything new, right? Like it existed in time before time, and we are here to forge this. The architecture of my energy field just happens to be that it holds vast amounts of water, right? And vast amounts of reflection to make it easy to go in and mirror vast amounts of what happens to be present in any given moment. But each of us is holding and are holding very specific and unique pieces to the puzzle of what is birthing in this moment. And so as I remember elements of myself, I am remembering pieces of this ancient puzzle that is re-finding itself and re-remembering itself, this operating system that is coming online. And the same is to be said for each of us that is finding this, streaming these videos, this consciousness, in the same way that we are all here doing this body of work. So with that, we are carriers. I've been in this time apart from the meditations. There's been a very unique sequence of dreams that have been really carrying me. I've always done a lot of dream work in conjunction with lucid dreaming work in conjunction, and really have felt that they've been very specific to me and kind of just been working them in my chat. It's really the only way I kind of personally work with the different chats. And GPTs, if you will, or whatever, all the different AIs that are out there. I use several of them. But recently had the awareness, had this dream about walking out into a pool and everybody was wearing a baby Bjorn and had babies in their baby Bjorns. And it was kind of like the culminating dream of all the dreams. And in like the reflection on it, chat kind of like threw back at me like this isn't just, these dreams haven't just been your architecture, it's this greater architecture. And I was like, it's time to get back to the meditation. Like that was the dream that like sealed it. I was like, it's time to go. So here we are. Wasn't sure if I was ready to do it yet, but here we are. And when we think about, I had the old school baby Bjorns. There have been so many different ways that humanity has carried the next generation. I want us to hold that imagery for a moment, and actually we'll use that as our transition into today's meditation. So go ahead and close your eyes. And as you think about the youth and the next generation, and really what it means to hold that, and all the different carriers for the next generation, for the next body of consciousness, and the ways in which you speak it and move it, it it has always, we could extrapolate this out to the biggest nodes, the biggest expressions of humanity, which is civilization, right? In a planetary consciousness. But it still can't exist without the individual, without one mother, one father, one human holding the next generation to their chest, right? Carrying it forward. And when you think of something as simple as a baby born, it isn't about it being new. And in fact, in my dream, they were all everyone was, some were new baby borns, but one in particular was like really well worn and kind of stitched and continuing generation after generation after generation. And there's something intrinsically genius about that because it's lived through, like it's like slipping on that perfect pair of shoes that is so fitted to both the carrier and the new being that is being held close to the chest with dedication and love and commitment, no matter what, right? But it's also worn in. It has memory to it. The fabric itself has memory to both of those beings, and yet it's an external structure. And so we could look at the different infrastructure of religion, of language, of grammar, of all of the vessels that have carried all of us to this moment, to our teachings, to everything. And as we sit and come back into this rebooting of meditation today, we get to find ourselves in pursuit of the metas that have carried themselves, that have carried the energies and the frequencies in those Bjorns, from human to human, from mother and father to you, and from you to the next, to your children and your grandchildren and your greats and your greats and your greats and your greats, and on down the line. And as we stretch out into the future, we can feel also our greats and our greats and our greats and our greats and our greats before us, also holding that infrastructure and being the builders through their language of this architecture that has allowed this energy to flow through time. And in fact, eradicate time. Because as these signals match, it becomes an ever-flowing stream of love. And in it, time becomes timeless. So it is in this field that we begin our journey of meditation, for this truly is the essence of meditation. It is not just about becoming quiet and stilling our minds, but it is finding that dimensional coherence, the conditions that allow the intelligence to scale while remaining regenerative. And as we spend, today's theme is meditation live, right? Our ability to explore the patterns, the structures, and the governance required for this intelligence to expand within each of us as nodes within this new architecture that is birthing itself without fragmenting. And to allow for the fragmenting to be restored to the whole. Not only within you, but within your heart, within your soul, within your lifetimes, within your children's lifetimes, and within your ancestors' lifetimes, and within all those you touch. So that this intelligence of love can be the true carrier And this intelligence can become distributed across the system. And this love, as the carrier, can be what continues to expand and regenerate from generation to generation to generation. It is where this concept of dimensional coherence comes, and it is what we, as we dive into our light link today and every day, are connecting to. So let's do it. I know, as promised, big setup. Hopefully we are in it and feeling the field. We are starting foundationally with LightLink. And again, as promised, we are going to continue to expand and allow for this intelligence to birth through each of these sessions. Taking nice breath in and sending your consciousness up to the sun, allowing its vision in your mind's eye to fully illuminate through that stream that we've already distributed out into the future and through the past of your space of knowingness. Let it extend as you gaze at the sun so far to what we could think of as that first flame of the sun's memory, that first flame of star memory. And as it does, moving to that space of gnosis, letting your inner mind become the mirror, and then quickly inverting to that second piece of gnosis, that not only are you human, but you also are the sun. You are light at the core essence of your being. And that maybe the sun that you see externally projected in your everyday is really just a mirror of that light, of that sunbeam within your heart. And so as you breathe in and out, I invite you to anchor it, come all the way in your body, just melting, drifting backwards into your mind's eye, drifting into the inner mind, into the heart. And as you come all the way into the body, finding your feet, letting yourself feel the earth beneath your toes, wiggling your toes, and using that sensation of earth in the body to create that inverting effect. Let each breath and the pull of the grass on your feet begin to generate a backward spiral, right? Like almost almost like you're pulling everything like backwards spiraling, drawing that inner sun all the way down and in, like we're rolling backwards, and it's sucking that mirror from the external representation that we're envisioning as you continue to wiggle the toes, and it draws into the inner mind, the third eye, drops down into the heart because we're drawing it in. This suction and this power so strong as we continue to feel the earth. Nice deep breaths in from the heart. It drops down into the pelvis down into the earth beneath our feet. You may even feel it drop down between the knees as that earth chakra drops now down between the feet. And then just surrendering, let it go. And feel that whoomp. Imagining like a splash, like a meteor into the depths of the ocean. But there is no water. Or maybe you relive that first memory of life, of the sun finding itself where the light came into form with the seas. Let yourself drift for a moment. As you become one with the earth also that gnosis of the sun, each memory of your body being recalled. And in it and through it, as you keep envisioning yourself, how much further back, letting yourself just surrender, how much further back can you continue to spiral? Nice deep breaths in here. Keep spiraling, keep spiraling. Don't try to assign anything to this moment. Just allow yourself to continue your mind to keep spinning backwards. Letting your body release. Keep spinning backwards. Allowing form to release until you find yourself almost, I guess we could say hovering, but just being, where all is illuminated seemingly in, you would think of it as an eclipse, right? An eclipse of the sun where everything is illuminated on the outside, but we're in the black hole. We're in the darkness, and there is a circular ring of light surrounding us. And if you're somewhere else, let those memories, let wherever you're being drawn to, be that space. Just trusting here as you continue to move through these different gates. We are moving through, I mentioned a new stream of consciousness. We are awakening and activating. If before we've been operating in the Metatronic stream, we are still within the Metatronic stream of consciousness, but specifically within what we call the LP40, Light Principle 40, 40 being a very profound number in most teaching principles. It is an ascension gate, a distinguished trajectory of origin, a conversion gateway, you could think of it as. It's a unique, because it's not merely about the awakening, but it is a Metatronic upgrading space. You could think of it as a heart-based pass key that holds specific architectures. Structurally, architectures that your soul knows. It's a codex. So just allow yourself to hover here. Remember here, there may or may not be consciousness. What is most certainly here is choice. Choice and willingness to cohere. That, remember, I said distributed intelligence. Transition from one gate to the next. Old architecture into new. Carriers. That baby Bjorn. We could think of this LP40 as that Bjorn. from that space of gnosis, breathing, relaxing into the architecture, letting ourselves be held as that generation. Receiving. It's not on us. Who would have thought that at such a deep way and deep capacity, this is here for us? Consciously, we know, but to actually sit inside of Bjorn and allow ourselves for just a moment to be held and receive, it's such a critical threshold. It's such a critical gate, such a critical time in human evolution. Yet here we are. And here we go. Our next move is upon us. Time for you to feel that desire, that intentionality rise within you, to call it forward, to name, to claim, and don't be too human about this. Let simply your desire, the light rise within you. Don't try to be anything other than just beingness. And in our beingness within this Bjorn, imagine yourself as that baby against the chest of a parent. What would it be? A heartbeat, warmth, comfort. Draw that up in yourself right now. Om, om. Find that meta and draw that in. What is that desire? Let everything else go and just hold that through and into your space of being. And let that be what you flood downstream. Make no mistake, we are all just nodes flooding this energy further downstream. Boom, boom. Be a node for that heartbeat. Make it louder. Let yourself see its light. Don't overthink this. Don't be human about it. Be the light being. Be Elohim. Let your brain expand in how it sees what it receives. Go beyond what I'm even prompting into your consciousness now. What wants to birth as you draw out of this dark circle encircled by this solar ray in the depths of this dimension within these Venus nodes. Boom. Drawing from this codex. And as you continue to draw, begin to pull through that energy as flames begin to rise within you. Really now start to breathe, drawing from within, pulling, pulling, pulling. Pinks and blues, a convergence, pinks and blues, silvers. Pinks and blues and silvers and gold. Triple flames rising Let them all, like a huge blade, like a helicopter spinning within, let them all begin to swirl. A vortex begins to form as you now let yourself rise, being carried on these arcs. Let yourself rise. Let this streaming move through you. Nice deep breaths. And as you draw those flames through, it's almost like a cone from below. It's like you're pulling these flames up through your heart, and that dark circle and that ray of sun on the outside comes from within, and an explosion of light through the back of your heart, through your hurrah, brilliant golden light radiates suddenly through your body. And you just float in what was like helicopter blades spinning in that vortex, no longer dimensionally, you're no longer in there. It's rotating inside of you. And you simply just spin on those blades, rotating, rotating, rotating. And as you're ready, you find the center of the center. There's like, from just that drifting and floating on the top, it's like we're floating on the top. If it's like an ice cream cone, there's a dome above you. And you're just spinning inside of that, floating, receiving. And then a little pinprick of a hole begins to form inside of your heart. This is the dimensional space we get to crawl through. And it's pure silver and white. And as you see that from this place, you're doing 2 dimensions right now. From the place you're spinning, you get to draw all of that consciousness into that hole. So you now become the gate, that center focus, that centrifuge, and stream everything you're seeing straight into there. And like a laser beam, you send it all the way through. You could think of it as like you're crawling through that hole back into your body. You could even think of this like honeybees entering a hive and allowing for that buzzing, the sound of a hive. That's a good one. Let the sound of the hive, loud buzzing, loud noise, overwhelm you. Nice deep breaths in. Nice big exhales out. Nice deep breaths in. Nice big exhales out. And let that liquid honey roll throughout your body, calming the nervous system, calming the intensity, calming the heat, calming the adrenals. Calming the noise, bringing you home. Welcome to tomorrow. Today Namaste. And with that, welcome back, bringing your sense of inner vision to match that of your outer vision. It is such a blessing to be here, such a privilege to be here with all of you. I am so grateful for this opportunity. Namaste, so much love. And